Today I have this Engl Savage MK1 on top of this Engl Savage MK2 to answer the question, did Engl f up the Savage? Spoiler alert, no, they didn't.
It's fine.
Now this amp is on loan to me through one of my patrons who bought it locally near me, and I'm gonna ship it to him. So I guess technically this video is brought to you by my patrons. So thank you, Barry, for letting me check out this amp. We're just gonna compare the two of them today. First things first, here's what's going on with the signal chain. I'm playing a Jackson Warrior. It has EMGs in it. That is going into my noise suppressor, into my TS9, into the Engl MK1, into this Engl standard cabinet, being mic'd up with an SM57, and there is no post-processing or anything. That's just going into my audio interface, and that's what you're hearing. Here's the clean tone. If anyone cares about clean tones, there you go. But let's talk about some of the differences here between these amplifiers. So, the first things that you will notice in terms of the front panel layouts, we have these separated out with both amps into channels 1 and 2 and channels 3 and 4. Channels 1 and 2 on the MK1, we have a middle knob and a contour knob up here, but it is different on the MK2. On channels 1 and 2, the contour knob is over here, and we also have a mid switch, so we can switch in between mid lean or mid bold. Show you what that does here in a second. Channels 3 and 4 operate mostly the same on both of these amplifiers. I will go into that here in just one second, but then let's go over to the master controls on that side of the amplifier. On the MK1, we have switchable presence and masters, and each presence also has a depth boost button. On the MK2, we just have one master depth boost button, but you can still switch between A and B presence controls. Now on the MK2, same thing here. You can switch it between masters A and B, but the difference here on the MK2 versus the MK1 is in the effects loop controls. On the MK1, you have a master effects loop control, and then you can switch it between channels 1 and 2, and that's all done on the back of the amplifier. So while there are technically two effects loops, just their operation's a little bit different. On the MK2, you basically have two master effects loops that you can switch between. So, oops, dropped my pick. Another big difference between these amplifiers, like the MIDI functionality is all built in on the MK2, but on the MK1 you actually need, here, let me show you. But on the MK1, you need this box, that attaches to the back with one of these old printer looking cables. So, it's a little bit of it's a whole other thing you gotta carry around that's built in to the newer amplifier, but that's a thing. So it's a little bit different there. Let's just jump right into the crunch channel on the MK1. Really tight sounding, really dry. Sounds like a good channel to boost though. Let's turn our boost on here. This channel sounds really good boosted. Now we do have sensitivity and bright controls here up front. I pretty much just leave these on all the time. I noticed that if you don't use the sensitivity controls, which technically I shouldn't because I'm using a guitar with EMGs, but little dull. And again, this channel sounds really good boosted. Let's just maybe do something like that. Yeah, I'm liking it. I like this amp a lot. I mean, I'm not surprised. I own the MK2 and I really like the MK2s. We have a contour knob here as well. This is what the contour knob does. And it just adds some highs, some high mids, a little bit more bright. Which is cool. That's not a sound I necessarily go for, but it is kind of a cool, punchy present, in the mix sort of sound. Okay, let's switch over to the Crunch 2 and the lead channel here. We'll do Crunch 2 first. Crunch 2, a little bit more snarly. It just definitely has more gain, more aggression than Crunch 1 did. We'll dial it something like that. On those like quick tremolo parts, we're a little bit like farty, a little bit bloated here. And we do have the depth boost on, by the way. And you can see where the presence is set over there. I haven't touched any of that yet, but let's cut some of that bass out. Let's turn this boost off. And you can hear this kind of picks up a little bit where the other channel did, but I don't like Crunch 2 as much on this amplifier. It's like a little bit more like boomy, like farty, I guess, in the low end, I would say. Let's turn the low end down a little bit. Maybe something like that. We can also try this contour knob too. You know, it's like a little bit like, I don't know, it's not doing it for me too much. Let's boost it. We definitely have more gain now, but let's put some of that low end back in. Yeah, I think this channel is like a lot better for slower, sludgier, chunkier stuff. Not a huge fan of the gain character on this channel, and this is common like with Engl amplifiers. I feel like a lot is it's really cool that there's like these different gain characteristics between each channel. This is especially true on the Invader. The gain character is quite a bit different on each one of the channels, and I think that's true on the Savage MK1 as well. Let's go to the lead channel, and that's what we're doing here, right? Let's turn the boost off. So this is just like the lead with the gain at like 2. Oh, let's take this contour off as well, and let's turn this. The lead actually has a boost button. You can hear adding that boost button in just gives it like more girth. It's like a little bit chunkier. This channel's where it's at, man. This channel sounds really, really good. Turn the contour on. It almost sounds like a completely different amp with that contour switch. Again, just kind of like boosting the highs, like the mid highs a little bit. A lot more like old school death metal vibes this way. Now, another way that this amp is a lot different than the MK2 version of this is these gain switches actually interact with each other. So you can get like a drier high gain sound if you cut back on this first gain knob. And I don't find like a dramatic difference that each one does. It's just like more gain. I find that I like them maybe something like that. course, if you wanted to be a maniac, you could just turn both gains all the way up. That sounds cool. Let's boost it. This might be one of the only amps where a boost is like really unnecessary, and it's mostly just because you have like a built-in one right there. Yeah, I love the way this thing sounds, man. It's a very like classic heavy metal tone, you know? Now, one thing that's better on the MK1 than the MK2, or at least in my case, my MK2 here, is the rough smooth knob. You can hear we can taper off that high end. It's very subtle, but it actually does something. It doesn't really do anything at all on my amp. I'll show you in a second, but. Okay, we've heard the MK1, let's plug it into the MK2, and let's see how these things compare with each other. Okay, so a few things that are different right away from plugging into it. Everything has lights on it, which makes it easier to tell if something's on or off, because like with the MK1, you know, you can only tell if the switch is like out or in a little bit. It's hard to glance at and know what's on or off. But with the MK2, everything has lights on it. The channel switching is also better too, because like on channel 1, you have this channel switch here, which goes between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you control in between 1 and 2 separately, or independently rather, with these buttons here. And it just feels a lot more like streamlined on MK2, you know? Because it's like, oh, if I want to go to that channel, I just click that, or if I want to go to clean, I just click that button. But let's start here with Crunch 1. Now, we also have a built-in noise gate. Big improvement on the MK2. But here's what Crunch 1 sounds like. Let's contour it. You can hear they're like very similar. Big difference though that we have here is we have mid bold and mid lean. We're on bold right now, and I actually had that thing cranked. But if we want to go mid lean, it's more like a Marshall sound to me, you know? And then like if you go bold, it's more like a modern, still Marshall, but like more of a modern Marshall-y sort of sound. And of course you could set these differently too, so if you want to foot switch it, maybe you could like, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, let's go here to Crunch 2. Now on this amplifier, the gain low-high switch actually makes a difference. sounds a lot like the MK1 version, just with some slight tweaks there. Now, just like on the MK1, we do have this rough smooth knob. But unlike the MK1, this tone balance does virtually nothing. So I have no idea why you'd use that function. Maybe this is just my amplifier, but it does even less than the tone balance did on the MK1. And we can still contour this channel if we wanted. But let's go to the lead channel, where the magic happens. Now, with the lead channel on this amplifier, gain on Crunch 2, it doesn't affect our overall gain. So these gain controls are completely independent. It's like the spirit of the MK1, just more refined, cleaner. I'm talking over it right now and it's dead silent because of the built-in noise gate. And we still have a lot of the same cool features. And that is with the gain not very high. Let's turn the gain up. Let's try to match the settings from the other one. Just such a monstrous, mean metal tone. That's why people like these amps so much. Now, of course, we could boost this channel also, and I think this amp actually takes a boost very well. Better probably than the MK1, maybe? But again, on this amp, you know, it's not super necessary, if I'm being honest. All right, so what do you guys think? Is the MK2 an improvement over the MK1? Is the MK1 still worth it? These do pop up sometimes on the used market, you know, for considerably less than the MK2 versions. Not a crazy amount, because they're like not in a crazy surplus. So, you know, maybe it's like a $500, $600 difference between these two amps on the used market, but I let you decide which one is better. Is it worth spending the extra money and getting the MK2? I don't know. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you to my patrons and my members, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.